Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. Well, happy Monday. Got a quick thought about distracted driving because I got into another close call on the road today. Unfortunately, the roads here in Phoenix have become a very unhappy place for me to be. Because every time I drive, it seems like I may not feel like I'm at risk of getting hurt or killed in a car accident, but at serious risk of an inconvenience at least. I've gotten into 2 accidents here in Phoenix, neither of them my fault. Neither of them did I get hurt or did anybody else get hurt for that matter, but they cost me a lot of time. And I just wanted to say that I can't really tell if the 2 people who hit me were distracted, but if they were, it was very selfish of them. Because if you think about the kind of distractions people get involved in behind the wheel, they might check a text message. Now, I invite you to go to your phone assuming you're not driving right now, go to your phone and look at the last 100 text messages you've sent, or even 1,000, or whatever number you can up there. And tell me what the most important one, the most urgent and important one was. And was it worth at least 10, 20 hours of dealing with car repair hassles or dealing with insurance? Let me tell you about my last accident. I had gotten hit by a semi, actually. And it was difficult enough to deal with the other driver's insurance because he had a commercial policy. Finally, I go to pick up a rental car. But the car repair was taking a lot longer than anybody had anticipated. We got quiet quitting, we got supply shortages. Long story short, the rental car expired. I still hadn't had my car back yet. I was trying to lay low, and every time I drove out, I was worried I would get pulled over and get caught with an expired rental car. It took a lot of phone calls to get it extended, a lot of stress, and it really impacted my work here at Phoenix College, I want to say. Impacted my art projects. Ever since I started doing art, I really start to appreciate the value of my time. And the reason being that it takes a lot of time to pitch to people. It takes a lot of time for the art to pour right, obviously. A lot of times I'm going 2-3 days without sleep. I'm drinking enough caffeine to kill multiple people. I have a huge tolerance to caffeine, obviously. And so you get the idea. And so, you know what? I really value my time these days. Nowadays, I'm much more willing to not help out my colleagues. I talked about this in other videos. I used to help my colleagues and be upset when they didn't reciprocate. But okay, getting back to the distracted driving, or people eat while they drive. I just want to question, is that bite of Big Mac or whatever text that is, sometimes it's not even a very useful text. I can personally attest. I don't text and drive. But even the text that I send when I'm not driving, here, I'm going to look at them right now and tell you what the last couple of texts were about, at least. Okay. I had, well, one I just exchanged with somebody I met at a board game meetup. It was just a hello. Well, obviously that's not going to happen when you're driving because it's somewhere that one was checking up on an old tutoring client of mine. Another was one of my students who needed to reschedule an exam. I really despise those reschedules. Like I said, ever since I started making art, my time has become incredibly precious. And one of them was I was negotiating some scrap metal that I'm buying from a dealer. Anyways, none of those were life and death. The point I wanted to make was that none of them were, oh my God, if you don't answer right now, a nuclear bomb is going to go off, right? There are times where I resist eating when I'm behind the wheel. I'm not starving to death. In fact, quite the opposite. I'm healthier because of that, right? The average American would be a lot healthier if they ate less, and certainly not behind the wheel, right? And certainly paid attention to their food. See, eating while driving does 2 disservices to you. 1, it makes your driving that much more dangerous. And 2, it makes your eating that much more subconscious, right? That's probably the worst combination I could think of, right? At least other activities while driving don't affect the other activity, right? I guess they do. If you're texting somebody important like your boss or a significant other and you're distracted by driving, I guess that could be a bad thing as well. But none as severe as the eating and driving, I want to say. Anyways, just think before you... see, the other thing I wanted to point out is that both of those accidents, I'm really starting to despise. I know it sounds weird because of how much I talk about this otherwise. I'm really starting to despise people who are single and don't have kids because they don't have a care in the world when they drive on the road. I was just at a Christmas party that was for Filipinos, and we had a lot of family people with young kids, preteen kind of kids. The party didn't work out for me because I wanted to meet people there, and you got a lot of young and old people, or you didn't have a lot of people my age, so that didn't work too well for me. But as I was leaving the party, it hit me how carefully all of these parents drove. I don't know how they would drive if they didn't have kids. Actually, as I left the parking lot, somebody was racing to get into my parking spot, and when I looked, sure enough, it was a single guy. And I don't tend to suffer that problem myself, though, because I treat my art projects almost like it's a spouse. And a few years ago, I was dating a girl who was many years my junior, and I took really good care of her when I was driving in the car. And I continue to carry those good driving habits that I developed while I was driving her around. And, oh, there was also another situation 3 years ago. 3 years ago, Let's Go Brandon was threatening to inject everybody in the United States with this poison, and it made me worry that if I got into an accident and ended up in the hospital, that the hospital would inject me with this shit before I had a chance to wake up, right? So I developed a lot of good driving habits as a result of that period. So it wasn't a complete loss. This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.